Level U.S. delegation met President Nicolas Maduro. So what? Are they, now that they are pushing for Venezuela to now pump up more oil and Iran to also pump up to actually shore up the amount of oil in the system and then bring the prices down? Do you think that is a good move? Is it a good gesture there? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. Now moving on straight to the African continent, Nigeria intercepts hundreds of sacks of donkey meat. Well, we'll be telling you more about that in a moment. Officials say about 1,000 donkeys were slaughtered and their meat packed in the sacks. I don't know who eats donkey meat though, but every meat is eatable, isn't it? Okay, South Africa asked to mediate in Ukraine war, Ramaphosa said. President Ramaphosa says he spoke with President Putin on Thursday and urged a mediated solution. We'll have the Chinese leader who is vying to do so. We have the South African leader, and now we had the Turkish leader as well, who are all trying to mediate. Now, what do you think is going to happen there? It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so we will be going on to look at enjoy some music, and then we will have Ms. Olayomi Koiki joining in. There's a lot more going to be coming your way. NDC MP share video of Joe White affirming he can't vote as presiding speaker. Okay, but now they're saying that, well, the Supreme Court has ruled that he can vote. Well, interesting. As they say, the law is an ass. So maybe you whip it this way, you turn it that way, and that is what seems to be going on. Kaswa man, 37, shot dead at Owutu Papase over land dispute. And ruling on Deputy Speaker vote leads us into absurdity. Former President Mahama has also said. So now enjoy this music, and we'll be having Ms. Olayomi Koiki joining us in the next few minutes. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Station in London.
The quickest way to start starting again.
Radio. This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
He has been faithful all my life. He has been so good to me, and I hope that he's been good to you as well. We're talking about the Almighty God, and for singing of the goodness of God by the Joyful Way Incorporated, I say welcome once again to the program. It's now gone 5 minutes past the top of the hour, and you know what? We have the man here in the house, the one and only Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who has joined in the broadcast from our North London studio. So let me say, Yomi, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the globe, and welcome to Friday edition, the 11th March 2022, 5 minutes past the hour, and it's good to be with you.
Okay, yes, we didn't hear the latter bit that you said.
I said it's good to be back again, with all our listeners from around the globe, and as usual, like you say, it's thank God it's Friday for those that are getting paid in United Kingdom, maybe the other way around in Nigeria.
Yes, listeners, that is Olayomi Koiki for you. How are you doing, sir?
Well, as you can see, we're always full of energy, especially that, when you give thanks to the Creator, you see how things are running around the globe. You are still alive. I'll be giving a background to a video that was sent to me from Ukraine, where one of the Nigerians that is studying there, so many of them are Ghanaian, says from that video, it's just about 2 hours before the Russian will be getting closer to where they are in Kiev. So we're going to be playing the sound clip of that video in just about a few minutes when we eventually go into the broadcast. So we still have some of them out there. So for those of us that are not in that situation, we just have to give thanks, to the Creator for enabling us to see today so that we can continue to give thanks to Him as usual.
Yes, listeners, it is Mr. Olayomi Koiki, and there's of course to give thanks to God. Let me say good morning to Amayo. Amayo, I hope that you are also doing good. Whatever the circumstances or the challenges are, we know that some way, somehow, you are also doing good, surviving. So, wow, it is Starr Radio UK, the Friday edition of the morning show. Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you. Okay, well, Amayo says Nigeria's situation is new day, new problem. And Yomi will tell you, I pray that may Nigeria not happen to you. Well, I pray that may Nigeria also not happen to you. New day, new problem. But there's problems all across the globe, right? Okay, some is quite stronger or difficult or challenging than others. Anthony Adedaji says, oh my God, he just has an emoji with his hands covering his face. But well, we thank God that we are still alive. And let's now go to some of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria today. Lawmakers urge security agencies to enforce bandits prescription order. What is a bandits prescription order, Yomi?
Well, as you know, there's quite a lot in Nigeria, especially with the insecurity that that we discuss almost every day, because there's always a security problem in Nigeria, and that is also giving a lot of concern. I'm just trying to pick. I've seen that article. This is coming from one of the paper as we continue to review this morning. Lawmakers are now urging security agencies to enforce bandit prescription order. What does that entail? According to the House of Representatives, has urged the Nigerian Army, the police, and other security agencies to ensure the enforcement of a prescription order as published in the official Gazette 108, which declared the activities of the bandit and such groups as terrorists. So at the moment, we still get a lot of report that these are known as bandits rather than terrorists, as contained in volume 108 of the Federal Republic of Nigerian Official Gazette, titled Terrorism Prevention Prescription Order Notice 2021, the federal government had officially proscribed bandit groups in Nigeria as terrorists. The question then is, why do we still get most of the papers using the word bandit rather than terrorist? When you look at the word bandit according to the English dictionary this morning, it will give you a different meaning to the word terrorist. So let's look at it according to the English dictionary. Bandit stands for a robber or outlaw belonging to a gang and typically operating in isolated or lawless area, as we might say. But in Nigeria, these are not bandits, these are terrorists. And what does the meaning of terrorist? Terrorist, a person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians like Nigerians in the northern part of the country, in the southwest and the southeast and the middle belt, in pursuit of a political aim. What is the political aim? That everybody must stand to become their own fanatic Islamic way. We do have a lot of Muslims in Nigeria, not the terrorist Muslim, but we are talking about terrorists and bandits here. And that is why the lawmaker are still asking the question, why do you call them bandits when already, according to the volume 108 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria official gazette, they are known as terrorists. And Nigeria still remain number 3 global terrorism index in the world.
Well, interesting. I mean, the federal government has said that they came out with the law that they should be now known or term them as terrorists instead of bandits. So whatever any newspaper or any news network decide to call them, whether it's bandits or whatever, the action that the military or the security agencies are taking against them or to quell their actions is what will determine whether they are bandits or is that not what Nigerians actually want?
Well, I mean, the word bandit should no longer, be, allowed to be used by any of the print or the TV station in Nigeria. But as you can tell, most of them are still using the word bandit, even though that has literally changed according to what the Senate is saying. The resolutions of the lawmaker were squelched to adoption of a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by Honorable Ben Monsudu. Moving the motion, Monsudu said there is an urgent need to stop the new increasing terrorist attack, the gruesome killing by the armed herdsmen and the bandit in Benue community. He recalled that the attack and the gruesome killing, remember that this week alone, 62 vigilantes were killed by terrorists. These are not bandits. These are people that are terrorizing Nigerians from operating on their farmland and within their community and kidnapping on the highway across almost every part of Nigeria this morning.
But is the security or are the security agencies dealing with them as terrorists at the moment? Because we can call them whatever we want to call them. But if the security agencies are not dealing with them the way they're supposed to deal with them, then we're just beating about the bush.
Well, you're quite right. The question is that are the security agency dealing with them, in terms of calling them the word, terrorists rather than, the word bandit. Most times, like I said, and I'm just going to open, the official Facebook page of the Nigerian Army, and let's quickly just say, maybe we can pick up something that reflects to that, according to the story that we are discussing right now. There is quite a lot of, I was watching yesterday a video that went into circulation where some of the wives of these recently killed military were protesting at the barracks as well. So I'm just going back to see some of the, yes, the military say also that they are doing everything in terms of, tackling the insecurity and also doing as much as possible. But so far, like I said, let me see if we pick anything that regard to that and to be able to portray whether they're using the word bandit or they're also using the word terrorist, because like I said, the word terrorist should no longer be allowed to be used. The word bandit should not be allowed to be used. The word terrorist is what should be the operation model. Okay, now let's look. Okay, this is relating to the IPOB rather than the. There's the one that we're talking about. I'm just gonna pick up. Okay, let's look at this now. Ongoing offense. This was on February 2022, and coming from the official Facebook page of the Nigerian Army, and it goes like this: a breaking news. Ongoing offenses clearance operations record another future as the Boko Haram terrorists and their families numbering about 41, comprising 11 males and 22 females and 8 children surrender to the troop. So the army are already using the word terrorist, but the Nigerian newspaper tend to be using the word bandit.
Okay. Now, just to substantiate a few points there. Now, if they are being treated, if they are bandits, what action, I don't know from the top of your head whether you know that, what action are the military supposed to take against them? And when they are terrorists, or they are known as terrorists or labeled as terrorists, what action? What is the difference there? Are they going to go all out to bomb them or what?
International law, because the international law has different categories for different crimes around the globe. I mean, somebody that is running into a drug cartel, will be run on a different platform on international level. So the reason why the federal government was taking a bit of stance, to name them terrorists is because that means that officially, globally, even though we know that according to the index that we still have at today, remain that Nigeria is still number 3. But by aligning them and naming them as terrorists means that it is now official from the Nigerian government that has refused, to name them, terrorists rather than bandit. And like I said, when you look at the word bandit, it stands for somebody that is just a robber or people that are belonging to a particular gang. Even here in United Kingdom, we still know that there are a lot of bandits. We might not use the word bandit, but they're just, different element of criminals, whether vandalizing your vehicle or doing all kind of different crimes within the community or different boroughs across the country. So if we're now naming them terrorists, that means, these are people that are persons that are using unlawful violence and also intimidation, especially against the civilian, and that is the difference between the two words.
Okay. So internationally, we know that they are terrorists, and therefore you don't have to do anything with them. International law school work against you. Okay, Amayo says that security personnel has been infested by terrorists, which it's easy for them to operate. So he's saying that he thinks that the security personnel have been infested, by terrorists, and that's why it makes them it makes their operation easier for them to go about their duties. Well, maybe you know something else that we don't know, but share it with us. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on to some of the other stories. The Lagos driver who was arrested for killing this young lady, another person has come out to say that the driver raped her.
Well, in every criminality element of people, it won't be the first time that they're doing such. The tendency of, these criminal, whether it's individual, whether they are, gangs or people that have been operating on that. So yes, you're quite right. I won't be shocked because we have, a country that doesn't have a good database to know who is who. So that means, people can easily walk into any state, but they've committed crimes in another local government as well. So when you look at the, the headline that you did say the arrested Lagos State bus driver must have raped individual before the death of this young girl that was killed in this public transport that is meant to be a safe one. According to information, a female victim who spoke with one of the mainstream paper, one of the print paper in Nigeria, accused Olayomi of raping her on November 25th, 2021. That is about December, January, and then February, March. So we are looking at about 3 months that these serial rapists, and when you look at who they call the serial rapists, these are people that commit kind of a crime. Because remember that they take advantage, especially that girls or women might jump onto that vehicle, not knowing that he's not picking up any other person, and then he become a victim. But because this other person that was killed was able to give us a good details about the vehicle she was in, even up to the registration number, maybe this other girl could not pick up that information, and then again, when you are raped, how many people would believe you that you got raped inside a Lagos bus rapid transit system? So narrating an ordeal, like I said, on Thursday, the lady accused the 47-year-old of raping her on that same BRT bus. The former sales girl at the shop in Naija says she closed work around 8 p.m. She boarded the BRT bus driven by the suspect. The driver was to convey her from Alashe bus stop in Naija to Jakonde along Lekki Ekpe Expressway when things took another dimension. She said while on her way, he switched off the light bulbs, but the AC was on. But as we approached the first toll gate coming from Ajah, he suddenly parked the bus. He then told me to come and sit at the front and started asking me questions. The question then is, how many of these serial rapists are employed by the Lagos State government on this bus transit that have already done so much damage? But the good thing is, somebody lost their life. But question then remains, who should be held responsible for the death and so many people that must have been raped? And we're encouraging people that have probably have such a bad experience. I know it's difficult to share, but you might want to contact us so that we can establish more of this conversation to the international forum. I'll come back again to you in the studio.
It's interesting because I remember back a few years back when a black cab driver here was luring women that he's won lottery and then give them some champagne and then and then rapes them. Now, so we have these entities going on. But what is the reassurance for Nigerian women? Let me put it that way. Let me say the women, because assuming in the night I need to hop on a bus, I finish work, I don't have the means to maybe hire a taxi or if I want to get on a bus with what has happened that has dented the image of the Lagos bus, the transit bus services, are they going to have maybe something like another person on conductor, that's what they call them, the conductor, bus conductor, to join them so that it can reassure people? Have they come up with any policy like that?
I'm not sure what is going to happen and how, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Lagos State governor, and his deputy, will be able to manage this, very bad image that has created on Lagos State, in regarding this young 22 girl that, had to, board on their own public transport, but eventually never got to a final destination. I do know that they are putting all measures. From what we know at the moment, I believe that they've put a kind of a stop on that particular transit system, which is already creating again problem because of the transport system in Nigeria. But what we can say is, according to Babajide Sanwo-Olu, this was on the 7th of March, and he says, "Dear Lagosians, the life of every citizen of the state matter to us, and we do not take the security of our people for granted. We will therefore leave no stone unturned in the investigation and the arrest of everyone found culpable in the kidnap and the death of Oluwabamiche Anyanwola. To Oluwabamiche family and loved ones, my thoughts and prayers are with you during this difficult time. May the Almighty God console you. I hereby give you my word that justice will be served. To fellow Lagosians, I assure you that I am following all the investigation closely and will ensure that Oluwabamiche gets justice you deserve. I also ensure you all that the BRT, which is also known as the Bus Rapid Transit Services, remain safe, despite my sincere condolence." So you can see that the governor is trying to give back a kind of an assurance. But how many people have gone through this rapist before he was caught? But somebody already lost their life before that. Yeah,
we say may her soul rest in perfect peace and may she get the justice. But one question before we move on from there for you to bring the others. What is the compensation scheme when it comes to Nigeria? Something like that has happened. I mean, because of the insecurity, somebody talk about the state, because this is a state-operated bus service, and then something of the sort. Is this person's family going to get some compensation for that act?
Because this has now become, in the public domain, so you could be expecting that definitely, the family will be well taken care of. They might probably not be able to see their daughter again, but they will be taken care of, especially, the governor, use these again as, they do something of such, in the politics play. So that means, they will present either a new house to the family. They'll probably relocate them from where they are living, and they probably give them, a kind of a money. But there's not a particular amount of money that can be given to somebody that lost their beloved one. But yes, because of this situation, they will be well taken care of.
I see. Interesting. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK in the North London studios, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. In the South studios here, I am Archie, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. So now let's go to Yomi for some of the other stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Let's quickly go straight and listen to that audio clip, which is a video, but you can only hear the soundtrack of these Nigerians that are still demanding to get out of Ukraine because things are becoming very very comfortable for them. Let's hear what they have to say.
They told us, they said it's because they are paying us, that's why we are staying. How much do you want to pay us? We are addressing the Nigerian government. Whatever thing is going on there, it's a lie. It's a ruse. We are not being paid. We want to come home. Contrary to what everybody is saying. Why would...
Sorry about that. Let's come back to it again.
The Nigerian government is saying that they've withdrawn all the students from Ukraine. We are still here. And we are not at the border. We are not in Poland. We are not anywhere. We are in Subi. And we are stuck in Subi. Yes. This is day 10. People don't have water. People don't have lights in hostels. It's getting cold in the hostels. There is no food at this stage. We are running out of supplies. How long do we want to continue doing this? Whatever is going on, we are calling on the Nigerian government. We are calling on the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Ministry. Please, what do we want? We want to go! What do we want? We want to go!
So we are using this opportunity on Starr Radio UK to tell the Nigerian government to evacuate all these Nigerians that are still stuck around, Ukraine. For their life is becoming much more in a desperado. They say they don't want to stay in Ukraine. They want to come back home. We were told that 5,000 of them will be brought back home. About almost $8 million was issued out. The question then is, have they been able to use all the $8 million to bring those few? And then probably where is the money? So let me quickly give you 10 things to do to be safe on the BRT. This was put together for those of you that are at home. Since the death of a passenger, Oluwabamishi Anyowole, many citizens of Lagos State have been worried about how safe it is to travel on the bus rapid transit vehicle in Lagos. So let's go and see some of those things that you need to know. To avoid finding yourself in a similar situation at Oluwabamishi, here are some tips to keep you safe while traveling on the BRT. Ask if the vehicle has a CCTV camera, as most of them don't have, especially the local built ones. If the vehicle doesn't have one, it is advisable to wait for the one that has. If the vehicle doesn't have a CCTV camera, try to know the vehicle's license number. If possible, take a picture of it, send it to a relative or friend, alerting them of your journey. Number 3, ensure that you are not the only passenger in the vehicle. Make sure that the passengers are about 5 at least, and don't look suspicious. Number 4, in a situation where the passengers in the vehicle are too much, ensure you sit close to the exit or by the window to make yourself visible to other road users. Number 5, if you feel unsafe, make use of the emergency buttons in the vehicle, which connects it to the control room. This alert officials in the control room to monitor the vehicle's activities. Number 6, BRT vehicles do not have emergency number. Put a call through to one of them. BRT vehicle do have, emergency numbers. Put a call through to one of them if you feel unsafe. Number 7, if traveling at night, ensure that the BRT vehicle has inner light. This allows other road users to see what is going on inside the bus. Number 8, please ensure you are alight at your bus stop and not along the road. Object if the driver suggests dropping you by the roadside, and this may be by a ploy to expose you to ritualists or armed robber looking around the corner. Number 9, ask questions or raise alarm if the driver decided to fly a different route other than his designated route. And number 10, the last one, if you had informed your relatives of your journey, ensure you let them know when you are alighted safely. This will not only put their mind at rest, but it will also prevent a situation where the drivers of the bus rapid transit vehicle will be wrongly accused. So you can see that more Nigerians now, after the death of this young girl, has become a little bit more wiser on the safety tips that we just read on Starr Radio UK. Let's now go straight to some other headline coming out as the INEC reject Bello and recognize Boni. We've been discussing this, throughout this week. President Muhammadu Buhari is here in London for a 2-week medical vacation, and the country, according to the APC, is still having their crisis. Despite the purported ousted of the embattled chairman of the All Progressive Congress and the caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Governor Mai Mala Boni of Yobe State, by his Niger State counterpart Abubakar Bello. Boni may still be in control after all. This is the Independent National Electoral Commission rejected a letter inviting it to an emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee of the governing party, where Bello chairmanship, among other things, is to be rectified. INEC petition is contained in a letter that is dated the 9th of March, signed by the Secretary of INEC, Rose Anthony, titled Re-Invitation to the Emergency Meeting of the National Executive Committee. The letter is addressed to the national chairman. So there's still this crisis happening within the political party of the APC. Let's touch on more other headline. Then I'm going to come back again to you in the studio. It's coming up to 11:30 a.m. this morning on Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So many Nigerians are still facing difficulties when it comes to business and the situation, the inflation in the country. FAM developed payment solution for Lagos taxi rider, and also BOI 1 billion syndicate term loan facilitator receives accolade. That is some of the headline. Also, House urges federal government to review mass transport policy and accelerate the urban mass system as well. Analysts optimistic of Nigeria's economic growth in 2022. We do know that there's a lot of inflation in the country. Exchange rate is becoming very high, 770 naira to a pound, 560 naira to a dollar this morning. Let's go straight now and look at this particular one when it comes to the mass transit, because again, most Nigerians cannot move from point A to B very, very easily and swiftly. According to the House of Representatives, has urged the federal government to review the mass transport policy and management with a view to making transportation affordable and accessible as a social right to all Nigerians. It's also urged the federal government to accelerate the urban massive transit scheme in the interest of Nigeria. This resolution followed the adoption of motion on the need to accelerate the urban mass transit. And the question again is, how safe are Nigerians? Because again, yesterday, a train literally ran out of diesel on its way to the last destination, and they had to bring in an extra diesel to put into the vehicle, which is a moving train, and then continue the journey. A lot of Nigerians are asking, how safe are we on the road, on the train, on air, on ground? Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you, bringing you updates from Nigeria. It's now gone, 11:32. But we've got a couple of stories, other stories that we'll have to look at. Now, let's go to this story. Nigeria government should settle with Igbos over NNAMDI KANU, Dele Momodu is saying. But interestingly, I guess whilst we are on air, I was looking at some of the other stories, but there seemed to be a fragmented front when it comes to the IPOP, because we have Simon Ekpa, who self-acclaimed disciple of NNAMDI KANU, who is saying that, well, the NNAMDI KANU is no more the leader of the IPOP. So with that fragmented front, don't you think that whatever they are saying, whether government should try to settle whatever things with NNAMDI KANU, it has been thrown out of the window?
Well, you're quite right. Quite a lot, when it comes to, especially when a leader is picked up, like, NNAMDI KANU was kidnapped and renditioned back to Nigeria. So since his arrest, there's been a lot of conversation. There's been a lot of different stakeholders. There's been a lot of people pushing different communication and different views on moving forward. Remember that, even though NNAMDI KANU, MAZI NNAMDI KANU still have access to his legal team, but the question is, who believes the legal team, whether, the messages that they're bringing back to the followers. And yes, you're quite right. Let me just look at some of the headlines that I've looked at, while typing NNAMDI KANU. The lawyer Ejimafo opens up NNAMDI KANU's removal as IPOP leader. What could that be? What could that contain? Let's look into that headline that came out yesterday, probably after we left, the morning show. Aloy Ejimako, the special counsel to NNAMDI KANU, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOP, has reacted to report that agitator has been removed from his position. Ejimako insisted that KANU is still the director of IPOP in the United Kingdom, UK. A report added that KANU was removed as the director of IPOP and was replaced with Sophia Chinyere Kalu. Mrs. Kalu is said to be the group's financial secretary in the UK. According to Ezije Chukuma, a separatist who managed IPOB and the Radio Biafra Community Interest Group Company, CIC, registered in United Kingdom, Kalu is the new director of the IPOB worldwide. This claim was re-echoed by Simon Ekpa, a self-styled disciple of NNAMDI KANU. However, Ejimako describes such report as false. In a chat with one of the papers in Nigeria, the special counsel said IPOB structure has not changed. According to Ejimako, the entire structure of IPOB was behind KANU. He said the report is untrue in its entirety. The organizational structure of IPOB as a legal entity in UK remained as it was, with the MAZI NNAMDI KANU as the director. KANU is still locked up by the Department of the State Service, DSS, on the order of an Abuja High Court. So you can see that definitely, the lawyer is trying to explain that KANU still remain, the main director of the movement, IPOB, but it doesn't look like for some of the other members and the followers of NNAMDI KANU.
Well, interesting. We'll be bringing you more on that front, fragmented front. Do you think that will, let government look at them differently, or do you think that, well, these people are finished, so let's just forget about them? Well, what do you think? Continue to put your comments on our Facebook page. It is Starr Radio UK, 11:35 the time. Now let's move on to some other stories and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, sir.
Let's go straight to some of the comment coming here from Olatunja, who first says, based on the, what we're discussing on the VRT and the security. Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Lagos State, is not responsible for the policing and security of Lagos State. It is the duty of the federal government to police and protect the citizens of Lagos State. That is why the unitarity system is bad. Timothy Ogunride says it's too early for that justice first. And likewise, still more comment there. But let's go straight to some more other headline coming out of Nigeria this morning as we continue to say, this is Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Not a very good news again with another death of a young girl. The corpse of a 22-year-old girl discovered in uncompleted building in Osun State. Could we now say that most of our girls are in danger in most part of Nigeria? Osun State Police Command has now confirmed the death of Shakirat, a 22-year-old resident of Iwo Town, Iwo local government area of Osun State, southwest of Nigeria. Confirming the death, the Command Police Public Relations Officer, Yemisi Opalola, stated that the investigation to the death was still ongoing in order to apprehend the killer. Opalola, who stated the command wanted to carry out the screening on the corpse, said the command was compelled to release her corpse to the family, who had insisted on instant burial. Shakirat, according to source, who pleaded anonymity, was last seen on Wednesday afternoon by family members who became worried when she did not show up at home in the evening. The source stated that the corpse was later discovered dumped inside an uncompleted building at the back of her mother's shop at Oke-Ore. What a very sad one for the mother to witness the death of her daughter dumped behind a shop. He explained that the corpse must have been dumped at the site in the early hours of Thursday by what we could have called suspected Yahoo boys or ritualists. Again, safety of Nigerians, safety of millions of people from the southwest to the middle belt, and these are part of the reason why people are saying it doesn't seem the center is holding any longer, and it might be the best option to disintegrate from Nigeria so that lives can be saved. Let me now go straight to the social media as we continue to give you the best on Starr Radio UK. So I'm going to go straight to what is happening when we type in Nigeria and Nigerians. According to Onye Nkuze at Sis Chukudebelu, if we have money, we earn respect. Money stops nonsense. Nigerians say these things because they are loud, but simply do not read history or anything at all. Just ask a simple question. What happened to the Jewish millionaires and billionaires in Germany? Again, Dipo Awojide at Ogbeni Dipo. If it was a pastor Adeboye or Bishop Oyedipo, you will start crying and preaching for days. Just look at you. After abusing hardworking Nigerians while dining with Raymond Abbas, aka Hush Puppy, Alatenuje. And I guess he was responding, to a video of Daddy Freeze. I believe Daddy Freeze is one of the critics to most of the churches and the pastors and the reverends back in Nigeria, but he's here in London having a great time with another pastor right here in United Kingdom, and you can tell that it doesn't seem to be going very well as well. Let me quickly also mention a very good critics and also a public figure, Reno Omokere. No developed nation will allow coronation officials organize a beauty pageant in prison and glamorize the winner. Under Buhari, opposition politicians are in jail. How will Nigerians feel if they win elections from jail? Glamour is different and rehabilitation. Again, I'm going to take one more or two more. According to Easterblog Niger, Pastor Toby Adegboyega, that is here in UK, one of the pastors, had a lot of followers, especially with the youth, berate Nigerians who criticize him for showing the video with bundles of pound sterling in UK. You can see that doesn't seem to be going well, as he's also responding as well. So let's take one more from the word Nigeria itself on the social media this morning. IPOP family, let no one tell you Igbo president is the solution to you as a Biafran, because our freedom is not on that, but the total freedom from the Fulani Janjaweed terrorist organization called Nigerian government and their allies. This is coming from that. And just one more, just in, Nigerian army denied the former governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, entry into Ebonyi State government house. What an interesting time when you talk about the situation in Nigeria. David Umahi, remember we said that about, I think yesterday, when we said that the court decided that it is time for him to vacate the government house. He said he wasn't going to be leaving, but I'm not sure whether that doesn't seem to be going very well. This is Starr Radio UK 1141. I'll come back slightly to you back in the studio.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you interesting stories making the rounds. But Yomi, before we go, someone was asking me behind the scenes, sent me a message asking about these the individuals who were killed at Sunday IGBOHO's house. During that attack. He said, what has been the update of that? Because they've been following that they've not heard anything. We're talking about that. What has happened to them?
Okay, let's quickly give a brief on that. Thank you very much to the concerning video as well. Also concerned, 2 people were killed. Cats were killed. I think about almost 10 cats were killed. One big one was taken away in the hope that would become Sunday IGBOHO when it gets to Abuja, but unfortunately that never happened. The 2 individuals very close friend to Chief Sunday IGBOHO. That one of them was traveling, paid a courtesy visit. He's a businessman, he's a family man, with a wife and children, known as Alhaji Adisa Adogon, a very, very close ally to Chief Sunday IGBOHO. And the next one was Alhaji Fatai. Alhaji Fatai is the last born of Chief Sunday IGBOHO's mom. Both of them were fortunate, to have arrived. I mean, this is a visit that they go all the time, but the 2 were killed. The death of Adogon was a butchered murder. He was not just shot by a gun, he was butchered with a lot of things on his head before he eventually passed on. The 2 were taken away, in the presence of the 12 people that were taken to Abuja. We've been able to get the 12 back. 2 of them are still going currently with the terrorism charges against them. But the lawyer are still fighting to know where the federal government has dumped the body of these 2 individuals. But as of today, the 11th of March 2022, those 2 bodies are nowhere to be found, and the federal government is not saying anything, but there's a legal case going on to retrieve the body if the body is still somewhere that the government must have kept them.
Interesting. How many months on? Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Yomi, before you go.
Well, one more point from here again, from those that are still, Mr. Awofeso again says, Yoruba land is paying a heavy price due to the unitary and the Fudua system which is being practiced in Nigeria. The state government are worthless. They cannot police their own state. And we saw that when Jide Sanwo-Olu was asking during one of the invasion in one of the houses, in Lagos State, and the officer says he has no right to, to give information to the governor. The governor needs to make a call to the Inspector General of Police. From that, and say, Starr Radio UK, a lot of programs over the weekend, but for now, you still have Archie and Frank and the rest of the team to take you through the rest of the program. I'll be back again on Monday for more information, but you can follow us on all our social media handle. But from here, I say a very good morning and bye for now.
Thank you very much and have a lovely weekend. Okay, listeners, yes, that was Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. It's now gone, 11:44. We're going to take a quick break, and once we come back, we continue with the show. Remember, exactly at 12 o'clock, the lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussions, and at 12:30 exactly, we'll be having Mr. Tabiri, who will be joining in on the program to bring you the Money Hour. And today, he's going to be looking at what? Household budgets, and that is dispensation. The challenge is high what energy bills that is going on, cost of living going through the roof, and everything that is going on